So, you're not doing your job this afternoon, Ollie. Is that right? You've gone on strike, have you? Have you gone on strike? Have you? No, I'm not paying you an extra packet of cat food. So I'm just going to let you carry on and sleep. You can join me if you feel like it. Oh, another wash. Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. As you can see, I am directorless, although he's sort of with me without actually giving me any input. So on my last video, I was demonstrating the Country Floral Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. This is one of the new level 1 Sale-A-Bration Rewards, and we made this card using it, which is a little get well card. And when I cut this bit out, when I made the original card, I just thought what a shame that would be just to throw that in the bin. That just seems quite wasteful. So I wanted to come up with another idea of how I could use this piece that I've cut out and just come up with another really simple card. So this is what I made, having made the original card before I did the video, and I'm just going to make another version of this card for you, just to show you how to use that little bit that is superfluous to the first card. So I'm using the same colours obviously as this card because I've got that as my little piece that I want to add to the card, and this time instead of a black background card I'm using Whisper White. I think that works better with the Highland Heather. So I've got my standard base card of 8x6, scored at 4 on the long side to give me my actual card. I'm just making sure that that fold is nice and crisp with the bone folder. So I've got 2 pieces of Highland Heather cardstock, both cut at 3 1/4 by 5 3/4, and I've got another piece of Whisper White card cut at 3 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I've got an envelope and some spare bits of card because we all know that I could possibly finish up needing them. And I've, oh yeah, this is for the front of my card. Actually, well, that bit's a bit bent, so let's go with this one. So I will do the middle of the card first. So using snail as normal, just going to attach one piece of Highland Heather to the base of the card. I have to say it's a lovely sunny day again today, but at least the sun has now moved round and we can have the curtains undrawn so that we can see some of the daylight. The sun in this room gets a bit overpowering. So I've got my little insert card, and I'm just going to put a little bit of a design on that, and I'm going back to the beautiful Bouquet stamp set which I've been using a lot in my recent videos. We've been trying to look at the idea of simple stamping, and as I've said before, this is a brilliant stamp set to have. It's £25 to buy, but it's got a whole range of sentiments as well as some nice floral images. So I really find myself using this a lot. So I'm going to go with this one here, which is that one. So I've got a D block there, and I've got some Highland Heather ink. I'm just going to put little area of stamping just on the corner there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the envelope. Always like to put a little bit of detail on the envelope, it just makes it that bit more individual. It just adds to the effect of the fact that it's a handmade card, and that you've gone the extra mile really, and given some thought to the envelope as well. So I've cleaned my stamp off there. We don't charge extra for cat's hairs in this house. They get everywhere. So I'm just going to add that onto the centre of the card. That's one of yours, Ollie, because that was ginger. So that's the inside of the card done. I'm leaving it blank because this is just basically going to be a little note card that I can use to just write a message. So about any particular subject, it's going to be quite versatile, that card. It could be a little get well note, it could just be a thank you note, it could be a thinking of you note. Always good to have things like that to hand, that when you need a card when you're least expecting it, you've got something that you can fall back on. So I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. Excuse me. And I'm using the Layering Oval Framelits set, which is £33. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen me highlight this before, but I love this set. I love the shapes of the ovals, and I also like the fact you've got a plain edge, but you've also got a crinkled edge. Now, in the last video I got myself a little bit confused with which one I was using, but I actually used the largest one of the crinkled edge to cut that out. This time I'm really going to use the large one of the plain edge one, which is where the confusion arose last time. So it's definitely the largest one of this one. Just checking, yeah, that is that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out that area from this piece of cardstock. In addition to that, I want this smaller than the size it is now. So I'm going to go for I think that one. Let me just try it up against that one, so that worked quite well. I think it's actually that one I've used. So if we compare that to the one that I've cut this one out with, see the difference. There is a slight difference in size. I don't want a massive amount, I just want this little border so that the background card is showing through, if that makes any sense. So if we could just pause the video for a moment, I'm just going to go away and cut these through with using my Big Shot. So I'm going to use that one to cut that area out of my background card. So you see I've gone more to the top, leaving myself with some space at the bottom, and I used that one it was that one. Maybe it wasn't that one, in fact it was this one. That one, sorry, that one, to cut that piece down. So I've literally finished up with a tiny bit off of the original cutout shape of that. So as I said before, I just want a tiny bit just so that the base card of the white shows through. I've mentioned this many times before. These are a great way to keep your dies, thinlits on the metallic sheets that you can buy very cheaply from, I get mine from Amazon, but I'm sure they're available in lots of other places, but they're well worth the investment. So on with the card. I believe how many stray hairs we've got along here. So just gently round the cutout bit here. And then I just want to put that on my card. So that's basically the card almost finished, but we want a little sentiment on here. Again, I'm going to go with the little note one here, and I've got that from the Butterfly Gala stamp set, which is in the Spring Summer catalogue under the Gingham Gala suite. And this, again, I love this with all the butterflies. Had a bit of a hold put on that, in the sense that the butterfly punch has sold out currently, but it will be coming back. So I had planned on using that a lot more than I already have. So once that's back in stock, I will be revisiting this properly, because it's a really lovely set. Not surprising that it sold out as quickly as it did, because butterflies are extremely popular, and it's a brilliant little punch. So I'm using, again, I've got a D block here, and I'm just putting that on there. You don't obviously need as big a block as that, but I had this in for the previous video, so rather than mess around, I'm just using that. Now, Gorgeous Grape, which I'm using now, goes really well with the Highland Heather, the two shades of mauves. So I'm using that as my contrast for the front of the card. You just notice that I've got a line, because it's a bigger block. You have the habit of just tilting slightly, so I don't want a smudge of ink going on my card. Put that down there. When you're starting out, you do seem to need an awful lot of supplies, and it is very much a case of, unless money's no object, it's very much a case of trying to use what you've got. So it's always better to have a bigger block, because you can always use a smaller stamp on it. However, as time goes on, it's always nice to have the right piece of equipment for the job. So again, in normal circumstances, I would have used a much smaller block for that, and you don't get that possibility as much of getting ink along one edge, and then as you press it down, you're almost tipping your stamp and you smudge your ink. But we got away with it, so it shows it can be done. I always think it's the wrong stamp set, so it's not going to fit in there, is it? We're totally honest. I always think, yes, in one breath it would be nice to have what you want when you want it, but it actually takes the fun out of waiting for things, doesn't it? And sort of looking forward to getting something else in your crafting stash. So we're going back to our little piece of embossed card that we've cut out, and I just want to add a bit of detail to that. And I'm just getting my Wink of Stella, which is probably not going to show up in this light, but what I'm doing I'm just going to pick out some of these tiny embossed flowers just to give a little bit of detail on this piece of embossed card. So again, no right or wrong way of doing this, it's just a case of picking out the bits that you want to highlight. These little daisy type flowers are raised up, so they're quite good for just adding a bit of shimmer too. But I'm not going to do all of them, picking out a random few. I'm going to go over, there's some tiny dots that have been raised up here. So I've got another flower there, but I think that's probably going to be too much. I've got one over here, so let me do that one. Just so it's not all on one side. And I'm just going to, just with the tip of the Wink of Stella, the brush, I'm just going to pick out these dots. Again, not all of them. Just again, when the card catches the light, you just get that little burst of some shimmer on the front of the card, which isn't adds to the detail of the card, but it's also very easy to achieve. So the Wink of Stella, it actually costs £7.50, and it is just a great tool to, or a great product rather, to just add that little bit of extra detail to your card. I'm holding up to the light because the shadow, it's hard to see where I've been. Missed a few down here. And so they haven't all got to be done, it's just make sure you've got some in each of the various areas. And I'm just going to finish that off with some clear rhinestones just in the centre of these little flowers here, which again will complement with the Wink of Stella. If you can, it's always better to have an odd number. And I've got a little flower over here. I've got two little flowers over there. Let's go with the one I've actually put the Wink of Stella on. Go for the centre of the flower, that would look even better. So that is my finished little piece of embossed card for the centre of my card. And I'm just going to attach that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Amazingly, I've remembered to bring them in with me. Surprise myself at times. Hello, Timmy. It's 2 hours before dinner time. You're getting lonely downstairs, are you? You're watching all the wildlife this morning. So I'm just going to pop that in the middle of my card so that I've got an equidistant white border around the outside. And that's the little card all finished with its envelope. So very simple to do, and just makes use of that piece that we cut out for the previous card. So almost like 2 cards for the price of 1 there. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. As I said in the previous video, this embossing folder is only any use if you've got a big shop. So if you haven't, then this possibly is, well, not possibly, isn't the reward for you. But there's lots of other Sale-A-Bration rewards to be had at the moment. In addition to, well, not in addition to, for example, like this one. This is one of the latest releases that came out on the 15th of February, and this will be the card, the stamp set that I'm featuring on my next video. Oh no, there it is. Which is going to be something very similar to this, although the next one I plan to have different background card, and I'm hoping to come up with an idea for an anniversary card. So as I say, that will be the next one, and that is one of the other level 1 rewards that were released on the 15th of February. But there's still most of the rewards from the first issue of Sale-A-Bration that started on the 3rd. So one final thing, going back to the big shot, I did mention it in the previous video, but it does open up a whole new world of crafting. So if it's not something that you have at the moment, but are thinking that you'd like one, then do give some consideration to the joining up offer that is available under Sale-A-Bration at the moment. With that, for your £99 for your starter kit, instead of the normal £130 worth of products that you get to choose, throughout this period of Sale-A-Bration, you get to actually choose £170 worth of products of your choice. So with a big shot costing £102, that gives you another £68 to spend on products. So that would certainly buy a set of framelits like this one that we've been using today, the layering ovals. It would also buy this one, which is another good one for adding sentiments to, and this is the stitched framelits, which is £28, and that gives you a nice variety of squares, ovals and circles. So I did mention that in the previous video, but what I didn't do and what I meant to do, always wise after the camera's stopped rolling, is to mention that within the catalogue there are a number of what we call bundles. So I'm just picking up one randomly here, the Stitched All Around bundle. So this comes as a stamp set, but it also comes as framelits, but you can buy it as a bundle and saving yourself 10%. So with that you'd get your stamp set and a set of dies to use straight away. So you've got coordinating products. There's another one here which is the Animal Friends, and so you'd get your stamp set and the Animal Friends thinlit dies. You'd get that for going clear amount, £42.25. So where I'm going with this is you've got £68 to spend, so you've got more than enough there to buy a coordinating bundle, so where you'll get your coordinating dies and stamp set. So lots and lots of possibilities, and there's also again the other joining option of £125 where you get the lovely craft carry tote bag. So all the details of that are on the online shop as normal, and I'll put links of the product details on there. Just whilst talking about the product details, after every video I do put a list of all the products that I've used, so that if there's any there that you fancy, you've got the reference number, etc. Where I've used two different cards, or I've actually shown you two different cards in the same video, so where I made this in advance, I've done this one in the video, but I've shown you both of them. What I also do is, whilst this is my featured card, I do also give you details of the products that I've used on this one. So there'll be the reference for the lovely lipstick the black cardstock, and I've used different I've used some different enamel dots on that. So I just wanted to highlight that because there's a whole long list of products, but sometimes you might see that the other card and think, oh, actually I prefer that one. So just wanted to mention that. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please do give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. All that will happen is that you will just get advised when I've uploaded another video. You then choose to watch it or not. So as I say, I'll be back with another Sale-A-Bration product to feature, and as usual all the other links like Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram will be on the front of the video. I have to say I am really enjoying Pinterest. There are some fabulous quotes and lots of cute animals on there, so pop across to my boards if you've got a few minutes to spare, because there's lots of fun things on there. So as I say, thanks ever so much for joining me. Our director is still fast asleep. There's obviously something very, very interesting going on outside. Pip and Tilly's. Oh no, he's having a wash now. It was interesting, but it's now quite boring. So I will be back very soon. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.